Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome. If you're new here, I'm Kama, also known as Weird is the Best. And today I'd like to show you my 3 sketchbooks. I will go through them in a minute. I'll also show you the smallest art haul you'll ever see. I got something new and exciting. And I'll show you a few swatches just in different sketchbooks, just because I think it's kind of interesting how different sketchbooks handle different paints. Yeah, let's get to it. Let's start with the sketchbooks. So last night, I'm just going to make it in short for you. Okay, so last night I was just playing around with different materials. These are Caran not luminance. Let me just open it. Ignore my dirty rag, it's for my paint brushes. I was using Caran not luminance, Neocolor 2, the water soluble ones. I was trying to blend them because I saw someone explain how to blend these and I was like, so no one is it's not an easy thing to blend, but it's also kind of an easy thing to blend. You just need to practice and cover lots of layers. So that's what I was trying out here. And some soft pastels, I think, from Sennelier. And then I kind of did some ink drawings. I was just trying to do something that I don't normally use, and then, as you can see, my hand, I wasn't really warmed up for it either, so I was just like doodling badly, but I was practicing these lines and like trying out different brush angles. So overall this was, believe it or not, I think it was a successful page because I did practice, so that's all that matters in a sketchbook. It's not a perfect thing. And I did those swatches. So I was just trying out different types of gouache and seeing which one covers best, because I struggle with full coverage, like this has paintbrush strokes, and I think maybe if I cover it again with the same color, they will disappear, but this was just like a single layer gouache and see what happens. So this one's Holbein, I think, and I don't quite like how, the coverage on it as much as I like. I think this is also Holbein, or like a mix of a couple Holbeins. What you can see here, Winsor and Newton, perfect. And thankfully I bought a box at my quite early stages of playing with gouache, so I have a whole set. It's a small set, but it does what it needs to do. And this is like a random mix of gouache paint, so it doesn't really represent the colors. And then these are Shinhan pass straight from the tube, and then kind of mixed in with whatever I had left from these colors, kind of just playing around with different colors and seeing, because I really like those shades. Salmon or like peachy. This is shown brilliant. It's a hard one to say. And then I was comparing Winsor and Newton, exactly the same pigment on the packaging, PY42, and Holbein Artist Gouache. They're both they're both artist grade, I think. And you can see they're very different paints. Not just the color. This one, so I don't really know much about pigments yet, but I kind of found it really fascinating to compare the same ones. I didn't even look at the packaging before. I didn't know I had exactly the same pigments in them. And you can see the binder or whatever it is just giving a very different effect. One has full coverage and the other doesn't, and it's more vibrant. So personally I prefer this because the coverage is better, although the color is a bit muddy. So maybe I need to add some other color to it to make it a bit more bright, but maybe this is better for nature painting anyway. So this is another test of those two, just for comparison. I might do a proper comparison video, but I don't really have that many paints to compare. What I noticed is I definitely prefer ones that have PW6 in them, even though it's just white pigment. It's exactly what goes into white paint on one of my paints. So that's interesting. I now know how to make it more, I knew how to make it more opaque and it made sense, but kind of clicked now. And you know, having experimented with different pigments, I now know at least one that I really like. So that's cool. Then I did lots of like swatching. I'm not particularly happy with the pencils yet. I need to kind of maybe watch a few YouTube videos about those. Let's move that because it was looking weird. Yeah, because I kind of really like the colors. I just don't know how I would use them yet. Yeah, it's still something I want to learn. These are Caran Neocolor too. So I just drew a lot of pigment on the page and then I try to kind of make them bleed into each other because that's the effect I really like. This is just some ink. It's Parker, I think it's called Quink. So yeah, I was just like trying to blend it with water, not blend it, make it bleed into the water, which I really like because on some surfaces this ink will turn slightly like yellowy. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, I was trying to make that happen on this watercolor paper. Didn't really work as I wanted to, but I really love this effect and I kind of want to try and find more ways to use it. And these are Ecoline marker pens and our brush pens, and I was just like adding a lot of pigment on the page again and like just slowly making them move into each other so they would bleed, because I really like the effect, but I don't like the lines around it and I don't know how to stop that from happening. If you do know, do let me know in the comments, because I would like to improve that and kind of use it more to my advantage. And here are some soft pastels. So these ones were drawn on the page before the paint, and then I painted over with indigo. And then these are, once the page dried, I tried drawing on top. And some of the colors are slightly less bright, but they're not that different, to be honest. And then I was trying like blending with water a bit just to see like the soft effect, because every paper will give you different effects with the same paint basically. So I was just trying it out. So yeah, that's that. Oh, this is my Winsor sketchbook. Cover is designed by Art2. Always worried I'll butcher the name, and I'm sorry if I did. But yeah, I love this paper and I'm trying to get over the fear of expensive paper and try and use it more. Okay, I did more swatches, but I think let's move on to the sketchbook tour because we need to get to that as well. Okay, so let's start. I think this was the 1st July. Yeah, let's start with this one first. And this is one of my ugly sketchbooks, so I just, not that I need to warn you or anything, because it's just a sketchbook and I learned recently not to care so much, but it's imperfect and that's how I often want my sketchbooks to be nowadays. I used to hate it because, you know, you see online everyone's being perfect. This is my sketchbook that, you know, I probably wouldn't normally show to everyone, but I think it's important to also see that stuff from other artists, because if all we see is someone's perfection, then we won't see the mistakes and learning that they did to get to that point. And there is a lot of learning and persistence. The sticker is mine, so I won't talk too much about it. Here are some, like, I think I was just trying to get back into drawing or something, like a figure study. This is like I tried to recreate my own old drawing, and this might have been from Pinterest, I'm not sure, but it's just sketchbook practice. This is a draw this in your style, which I posted on my Instagram a while ago. Not mine, someone else created this character and I just drew it. And I used to draw only on one page, on one side of the paper. So as you can see, this is like proper doodles, trying to get back into drawing. This was from Urban Sketchers, and another one, like this was my first Urban Sketchers visit. And I was like, oh, I can draw with single line and make it look great. Didn't really like the effect, and comparing myself to other people who came, this was the worst, but I didn't mind because I went out and drew with people and that was a success, so that's the important bit. Here's a gallery, same event, just drawing. that was like an exhibition. It was really dark and there were lots of hoovers on the floor, and I was just like, I have to draw this. But yeah, I kind of didn't know how, and I drew in my hand. Like I had my sketchbook not propped up on anything other than my hand, so it wasn't great. Especially like for someone who wasn't confident in drawing it. Here I have no idea, I was probably drawing someone outside the gallery or something like that. And then this is just from a photo I took in Copenhagen. So it's the famous New Haven in Copenhagen. Yeah, some more single line drawings, just trying to get used to the feel of that. And then a museum. I think that might have been when lockdown happened and we were drawing from Google Maps or something on, or photos of places from Urban Sketchers group, but I wasn't in the place, we were drawing remotely because everyone was locked in, and you know, it was a nice way to kind of keep going and not let the lockdown stop you. And this is from a clip of The Less I Know The Better, and I love that clip. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just so well made, so well put together with the music. So yeah. Brooklyn Art Library Week. Oh, that might have been like a challenge, but I didn't really complete the challenge. I just did a couple prompts from it. Here I drew myself. Yeah, Brooklyn Art Library. It used to be a library where you could submit you could buy a sketchbook from them, they will post it to you, and then you could send it back to them and they would display it in the library. And I have one and I shamefully never sent it because I felt like I messed it up. So yeah, I still have the sketchbook. They've actually closed down by now, probably. They were closing down at least a few weeks ago. So I think they might be already shut down, but this is just a portrait of myself, I think. And here are some plants. I think that might be just plants I want to have or something. Weekday house plants. Yeah, I was just trying to draw more plants. And now that I look at it, there is something in this, like I might take it further and like redraw it. Because I kind of like how loose this feels, but yet you can tell. You can almost tell which plants they are, so that's kind of cool. Honestly, can't remember what this was. It looks like maybe Lord of the Rings. Gollum? The Ring? Frodo? Aragorn, maybe? Maybe Gandalf? Definitely Sauron. And who knows? Gwendolyn? Who knows? Someone. Doesn't look like an elf because it doesn't have... This person doesn't have an ear, but who knows? And obviously Moria. Very simplified. But yeah, I recognized it, even though I thought I won't. Here's another one. I think that was from someone's photo. Just trying to draw remotely. And that one's from a photo, I think, or Google Maps. Might be Google Maps, actually. And here are some from a virtual sketch crawl. This one did not really work, but I really wanted to do it. So yeah, not what I wanted it to look like, but I've done it. And here's a boat, which I gave up on, I think. Cool, so that's sketchbook number 1 for today. And then we have July 2020, and then I often leave my sketchbooks unfinished, especially if they're not my favorites. So I finished it 3 years later. Almost 2.5 years later. The cover I made with Linocut. This was my maybe second Linocut. So after I attended a workshop, I got home and I was carving and carving and carving. And the first time I did this, it was backwards because I forgot to carve it backwards. And I'm one of those people who can write backwards, and I will prove it to you if someone challenges me. Not believing me, but basically I forgot to do it, so yeah. And on the back is my like logo. I used to use it a lot on some of my work, or like envelopes for when people ordered from me. And here I was trying to do a carrot, because I was doing a 100-day challenge, so 100 days of lino last year, and I asked people what I should carve next, and someone said carrot, and these were like the first attempts, and then I kind of kept at it until I had this carrot. Kind of cute, but you know, very basic. Okay, so here I was trying to go back to my doodly drawings, the blobs. If you've followed me for a long time, you probably know them. If not, they were basically blobs on the page, and I was filling them with faces. And they feature in one of my sketchbook tours here on YouTube, so check it out. I'll leave it in the description for you. A few more. I was just trying different things. Generally, I'm not very good at like textures. I kind of like this, but I'm not very good at like creating textures that work, so I was just experimenting. Yeah, again, trying different ways of using markers. These are Copics. They're not my own ideas, but I was just trying to draw birds and learn how to draw the shapes. I'm kind of exaggerating. I think I was exaggerating what I saw. Here I can tell, you know, when you look at your own sketchbook, you can probably tell when you were really uninspired, and I can tell from this I was very uninspired, but I kept going. And I think actually maybe I didn't keep going. Maybe I left it here and then I carried on. Also, if you see those numbers, I've been drawing at this point for 208 days straight. So, you know, you will hit highs and lows when you do a challenge like that, because it's quite a long time. I think I've eventually done maybe about 500 days or so, and then I stopped counting. So then I came back to this sketchbook. I think that would have been this, maybe. It's hard to tell because I didn't put the dates. And I started drawing my kind of older characters. I'm just trying things out. Not really anatomically correct, but I was just, yeah. Oh well. I can, you know, I like those sometimes when I make something really bad, like, you know, this doesn't follow anatomy, and it's just I kind of gave up at this stage and I was just drawing. But sometimes I go back to it and I redraw it because the idea is there. So I'm glad I captured the idea and just redo it better. So yeah, if you make something you're not happy with, keep it, because very often, more often than not, it's inspiration for later. These are some studies of stuff I found on Pinterest. I really love seagulls. I really want to show their essence when I'm drawing them. I think I'm getting there slowly, but yeah, this is really good. And it's not my idea, so I'm not talking about my own work. I just really liked how this looked. More. Not sure, this looks like maybe something I've done because the leg is very badly positioned. Like, seagulls don't look like this, but you know, the leg would probably be here. Because otherwise you'll have one leg at the front of the body of the bird and the other at the back. But yeah, anyway, maybe that's why it looks so a bit, you know, something's not right. And as you can see, this was when I was still, before I took the break from this sketchbook. And I was trying to go back to my blobs, and it takes a lot to get back into it because it's quite hard to come up with your own characters in a blob shape, I think. I usually find that. So I was just trying and not really liking it. And I still kind of don't like it, but you know, it's a page filled. Here I got new, yeah, that's February 2022, so it's like 2 years later, almost. And I got some new pens from my boyfriend for Christmas, and I use them a lot in my sketchbooks. So they also feature, so like this wasn't my only sketchbook. I have usually like 5 on the go, and I just pick the one that feels the right at the time. And yeah, I was just trying these markers out because I really love neon colors. Don't know if they really show up. I can probably see like how they change color. That's how like light reflects off them. And this page I kind of really like because it's a bit more colorful, and you know, it's a bit more my style, my old style. And here, not really sure, just a sketch, just a doodle. And then cut with a grey marker. I really wanted a grey marker, but this one is an alcohol one and I just really don't like it. Also, it bleeds a lot. And here was a perfect. I don't necessarily draw on the same day, and I know some people are surprised by it and maybe think it's cheating, or, you know, if you're doing a challenge, it doesn't matter on which days you draw. It doesn't matter how many you draw. It doesn't matter if they're finished or not. What matters is the challenge motivate. Like, for me, you might disagree, but what matters is that you've managed to get inspired by it and did something with it. So it doesn't matter if I did it on the right day. In my opinion, it used to, but it doesn't anymore, because then there's so much pressure, you don't end up finishing it, or you finish it but you're not happy, so, or exhausted as well. So here's Hyacinth Mako. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. It's from this year, so January this year. And I was just redrawing it, trying it out, trying different. I think maybe, I can't remember, but I was like, maybe I started at the back and then I kept turning pages and redrawing it from, like, tracing over my own work. Something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was like traced in some way. You can even see it's in the same shape, basically. So here are all the different versions. Kind of like this one. This is colored pencils. And these are Ecoline marker pens and some, I think maybe Caran on top, and Posca yellow. Here's another one. You can see how I've drawn over it without the paper in between the pages, and it kind of got transferred onto this page. Yeah, I was just trying different effects, but maybe didn't like this one as much. And that one, I kind of really like. It's more of a character for one, but because I took it from a reference, it's not really my original. Look at this boy. It's not the best, like, bird shape, but the face is so cute. And here's, I don't remember which day it was. Frill-necked monarch. By the way, if you've never taken part in Bearfest, check out the previous ones. This is the hashtag. And it's by Birdie Tam Art and Monkey Mintaka this year. And it happens every year. I'm not sure if it's always January, but yeah, around that start of the year. And here are the same birds over and over, kind of like this one. It's kind of nice effect. It's just pen. I don't think I had many gel pens back then, but I think it's a fine liner. This is more like marker pens on top of some lighter sketch, which I think this might be my favorite version of this bird. Now that I look at it, back at it. Yeah. And then some cuts to finish off the sketchbook, and I was really happy I finished the sketchbook by that time, because I was just so fed up with it, you know. 2020, it's quite a long time. So I kept drawing these. Different mediums again. Alcohol marker, not really a fan of it. And when I finished, I was like, yes, I finished the sketchbook. It's a good feeling. Okay, I'm wondering whether I should break this up and show you my tiniest art haul. This is an exciting thing. I was waiting for this for a long time, like to order this item from this maker. It's from a small business in the UK, and I absolutely love what they do, and I'll tell you more about them in a second once I open it. I often will keep packaging like this and reuse it, and I often would make like a random bag or a mystery pack Like these are all glassine bags I got from probably the same company as this. But yeah, I was just trying to not waste too much. There's enough waste in the world. Especially if it's like packaging for like my seconds and samples. My packaging then is also seconds and samples, you know? Ta-da! Odd Orange. If you don't know them, definitely check them out because it's my favorite company nowadays. They make handmade sketchbooks, really quality. I've not had one yet, but I did order some paper samples. Actually, since we're on samples, on swatches, I should show you the swatches from them first, maybe. I promise I will get to it, to the unboxing this. I ordered some samples, and at first I thought this was a different paper, but I think I got 2 of each. Yeah, I was a bit, like, I wasn't 100% sure, but I think she gave me, Morgan is her first name. She gave me this extra piece of paper of each type. Everyday artist paper and heavy duty artist paper. And I thought this was all-purpose writing paper, but I think it's the same because it feels the same. So I've done some swatches on this. I used Tombow brush pens and a pencil, and I was checking, sorry, I was checking if it bled. And as you can see, the everyday one does bleed a bit, but they're not too bad. Like this, okay, this is bad, but this one is quite good. And then I was checking my ink. So this paper, even though it's good for everyday writing, I don't think it's good for like painting with ink as much. And then, yeah, some colored pencils, gel pens. I definitely prefer this paper, although, you know, because it's heavy duty artist paper, it's going to be more expensive. But I think it's worth it because I just don't like this as much. And it's nice to have had this comparison because I probably would have ordered this next time I order. I think this one is well worth the higher price. So yeah, I really love those samples. You can order those from her as well, so you can choose before you buy. Ta-da! Absolutely love this. I've been watching the build up to the launch of this product on Instagram, and I was really excited because I've been wanting to get a sketchbook from the Odd Orange for a long time, and this just felt like the right one. It's limited edition. I think there were only 110 or 105 of those, and it sold out within like one day. So it's mixed media, 72 pages, natural white, which is slightly off-white, I think, and it's smooth. And it's done in collaboration with Magali Franov. If you don't know her, definitely check her out. Yeah, I've been following both for a long time. And this is cloth-bound sketchbook, and I just really love the colors. I've been so jealous of seeing other people use them. But I think what I'll do is I will try and finish off my other precious sketchbook first, and then I'll move on to this one because it doesn't make sense to start too many because then it's a bit more overwhelming. So Magali is based in Switzerland. You can find her at this URL and on Instagram. And on Orange, they make stationery for creative people. They also make like prints and stickers. If you're into that kind of thing, they have a few. And I don't know where I put it right now, but I have a sticker from them and it's really cute. Are recycled and responsibly sourced materials, and she shared a lot of her process on Instagram, so you can kind of see like how the sketchbooks are made, which is really, really nice. Okay, so let's see what's inside the sketchbook just very quickly. I won't be swatching it today. I'm sure I will show it at some point, but yeah, I really love the combo of colors, especially those two. Like I love this pink, but also this is so pretty. And obviously the red at the front, very stunning. And inside we have this beautiful pattern, and I imagine I'll be staring at it for hours and hours. And even though it's like a 2-page spread, every single drawing seems to be of a different thing. And I know she's worked because we attended. So if you don't know, Odd Orange organize it's not like a workshop, it's more like a draw along. We draw together from prompts on Zoom, and Magali was at one of those sessions kind of just before the launch, and she talked a little bit about this, so check it out if you want to see that session. But basically it was a long time for her to make this, so she put a lot of effort and thought into this, and there were different color schemes that she considered, so yeah, it's really cool. And I think this is all traditionally painted and then scanned in and maybe collaged, I can't remember exactly, but it's just beautiful. Then the sketchbook begins, and what I like about it is it should lie flat, which is really cool. So yeah, can't wait to start using it. And we got some freebies, a bookmark and a print. Really fun, really fun. Kind of makes you want to start doing this yourself. And here's a little information about Magali. And a bookmark. Oh, double-sided, cool. Let's carry on with the sketchbook. There's only one left, and it's actually going to be quite quick because it's filled with very similar drawings. This I drew after finishing the sketchbook. I kind of really needed more space. I think this was just a few drawings. I think it came from a sketchbook, but you see the pages are, some of them are falling apart. Yeah, I'll hold it to the camera for you. Just a lot of the same drawing over and over. So we have those characters. I really like drawing them. It's really, really fun to kind of keep trying and keep seeing how I can push the features of these further. Let's go. Oh yeah, I've already done this. Let's go into the sketchbook. No idea why I left this page blank. Maybe I was drawing from the back, let me see. But I think I've done it all in a couple days. So basically, and this is nice because, you know, it's nice to feel a sketchbook, then it's not wasted. So here are some characters. I kept drawing and redrawing them. I'm just enjoying the process. These are all done using tumble brush pens, but with this tip, which is perfect for doing like fine line drawings. Or were we? I think we got to this page. And same character, just slightly more characterful. And I kept going. And I later redrew these digitally. Can't remember if I scanned them in or if I just redrew them, but I had loads of fun with these, drawing and redrawing them. And I meant to do them as a Riso zine, but I don't know. I actually might have drawn them in a sketchbook first and then, yeah, clean them up in Procreate. But yeah, just exploring different hairstyles and like having, like, love this character. I don't know what it is about it, but I just really like it. These are just from some random references on Pinterest, but I was trying to not stick to the references as much and make them my own, just because I thought that would be, you know, better, more original. Here might be a picture of myself, I can't remember. It looks like it could be. Pretty much all the same. Don't want to bore you to death, but yeah. Slightly different expressions and different shapes, different eyes. Not too far. Love this one as well. I don't know why they all look worried. I guess maybe I was worried at the time or something and didn't even realize that. But yeah, kept drawing them. And it's good, you know, you can see that some of them are improving over time, so it was a good exercise. drawing a profile view. I moved on from drawing noses like this. I don't know. I just grew out of it, I guess. I think the profile is getting better as well. And then we have those two. Oh, this one. Maybe I should like fill it in, but I don't know. It's a finished sketchbook, so. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour and a mini haul. I think it's nice to explore my old sketchbooks, especially this one, and see how imperfect it was and how I still don't mind that. And I used to mind that a lot. It's just nice to treat your sketchbooks like sketchbooks. For me, I recently started thinking like, if you're drawing something for the first time, I treat it as a sketch. Obviously, I treat it as a, you know, when you take notes and you take notes really quickly, that's my note taking. The first sketch is my note taking, and then once I've taken those visual notes, then I can make it look better. And you know, you can redraw hundreds of times if you need to. And that's how you learn. So yeah, first sketch I often make, especially when I draw comics, I make it intentionally ugly. And then I work on it until it looks better. And I think that's a lot better approach. You're less precious, you're more likely to draw what you want to draw, even if you don't yet know exactly how to draw it perfectly. Yeah, so we're going to finish here. I hope you enjoyed this tour and the mini swatch tour as well. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, because it really helps me and other people see the content, because it gets shown to more people. If you're interested in more, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and maybe the notification bell icon. Then you'll get notifications for new videos. They usually come out on Sundays, but not always, like this weekend, or last weekend rather. I was at the market, so I was extremely busy, and before that I was a bit anxious, so I didn't really record anything in time. But most of the time I tend to do a video on a Sunday. So yeah, I hope you loved it, and I hope to see you again. Have a lovely day artsing, and until next time, stay weird, bye!